So what is going on, everybody? Jay What If's back at it again. This time for a part 2 of What If Deku Was Moon Knight. And I hope you guys are gonna like this one. It's not gonna be scripted, so I might have a little bit more energy. I hope. So if you guys go on to enjoy this, like, subscribe, comment down below what y'all want me to do next, because I really wanna I really wanna give y'all what y'all want without me just having to, put these out there and hope for the best. So, yeah, I guess without further ado, let's get into What If Deku Was Moon Knight, Part 2. And continuing where we left off from our last video of Izuku falling asleep in the classroom, I could see a clean transition, just like the nastiest transition, like even more clean than Breaking Bad and the catch-up transition. Yeah, if you guys can't tell, I'm standing up right now, so because this story's about to get fiery. Because I think y'all enjoy it. Anyways. So I could see a smooth transition. Izuku waking his head up, being like, "Oh gosh, here we go," because he hears the footsteps of All Might, and he's like, "Here I am, bursting through the door like a normal person." Everybody's like, "All Might," and Izuku's just like, "Oh, All Might," and he just lays his head back down, and All Might's like, "Young kid, raise your head up high. You should not be falling asleep. This is a momentous occasion." And Izuku's just like, "All Might, stop." And All Might's just like, "I see you're not quite chipper for this early in the morning." And Izuku's like, "Yeah, you're right. I'm not trying to be here right now. I'm trying to be sleeping. Like, it is 8 o'clock and you're screaming. Like, let me sleep." And All Might's just like, "Okay, but you must wake up for this. Everybody, get these clothes on. Get your clothes on and meet me outside. But wait, there's more. You can't just get on your regular gym clothes because, as I always say, the clothes make the pros." Clicking a button, and it reveals like all of their hair costumes, but for some reason there's only like enough for one person in the class except for one person. So All Might's like, "What? That's weird. Did one not get dispensed?" And he's like, "No, I'm wearing it right now." And All Might's like, "Wait, what?" And Izuku just throws on his ceremonial armor and he's just like, "I bet. Where to now?" And All Might's just like, well, I guess you can just wait." And he's like, I'm going back to sleep." So he's like, "No, you can't go back to sleep." And he's like, "I said I am, and I'm going to." So he just like he goes back. He goes to the training grounds and he just face plants onto the concrete, and he's just like the cartoony snoring. And I can see Aizawa being like, "That's my kid right there," and then doing the exact same thing. So after this, we get everybody walking out of the tunnel, like in the classic fashion of the like "my hero," like that playing in the background, and everybody just being like, "Wait, why is this kid on the okay, whatever." And them all just continuing their epic walk up, and Izuku's finally like, "Oh, finally, y'all took so long." And he stands up and he's just like, "I bet." And he just does the Vegeta, like crossing his arms pose, and everybody's like, "What the heck? Why does he have so much aura?" Like, bro. And he's just like, All Might, tell us what we gonna do, or I'm going back to sleep." And All Might's like, "Fine, kid. We're gonna be doing a 2v2 hero versus villain simulation battle, and you must draw a lot." And so Izuku's like, and he just draws a lot. And it's actually revealed that he's gonna be with, I'm gonna say he's with, I'm gonna say he's gonna be with Jiro, and he's going against Tokoyami and so it's Tokoyami and Asui. Sorry, I had to go and look that up. And then I'm gonna say it's gonna be Kirishima and Sero versus Ida and Bakugo. Cool. I think that covers everyone, and then everybody's just like canon. So how I can see this going on is Deku, and I think I put him with Jiro. So I could see them just like talking about like music, and Jiro's just being like, "Oh, how's that record player held up?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, no, it's holding up pretty good. Thank you for recommending me that, by the way." And she's like, "Yeah, of course. I mean, I just really like music." And he's like, "Yeah, I mean, music is good. Like, that's just like an old vinyl that my dad." And then like he goes on this like semi rant without like ranting, and Jiro just finds it adorable. And like he's just like, "Yeah, no, it's my dad's favorite vinyl, and then he passed away, but it's water in the bridge now, and I miss him." And that vinyl just made me, just reminded me of him. So thank you." And she's like, "Yeah, of course." I mean, I didn't know how much sentimental value it had at the time, but I'm sure it had. I was sure that it had to have some purpose, right? And they both just slightly blush, and then almost just like, oh, heroes. And it's actually revealed that Jiro and Izuku are going to be the villains, and Tokuyami and Asui are the heroes. And so what they do is they use Asui's like frog-like abilities to launch Tokuyami up in Dark Shadow to burst in through the window. And after this, I could see Izuku just being like, "Oh nah, we ain't doing that." And he just throws his crescent moons, and then he digs both of Dark Shadow's arms into the walls, kind of like in a like hands in the air, like bro, like sorry that just made it sound like cringe, but like stabbing it into the wall to where the crescent, like the actual like shape part, was around both of his wrists, and Tokuyami was just like, what do I do? Because it was we're gonna say that it was Dark Shadow that got pinned, and then Izuku did the exact same thing to Tokuyami, getting his ankles as well. And after this, like, Tokuyami is dispatched. Like, I'm sorry, like, this is gonna be like such a like fast thing, but you also have to think like Izuku, he's a master marksman. Like, he could just go, oh heck no, and just throw the crescent moons, and he's just like, what do I do now? And then I could see him being like, all right, I'm gonna go after Asui. So him like using his like cloak to like camouflage himself in the darkness, and he finally sees Asui, and he like taps her on the back, and she's like, and she turns around in like the classic anime fashion, and he's like, behind you. And then she turns around again, going to where she was originally facing, and he's like, not that behind you. And she turns around again to where she got tapped from, and it's just him, and he just goes woo 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 woo, like hitting her gut. I can see gut, and then knocking her, like right hooking her, sending her into a wall, just being like, and he was like, ooh, I did not mean to go that hard. And he's like, I'm so sorry. And everybody's just like, ooh, that was ruthless. I mean, I guess we gotta give it to him though. And almost just like, villains win. So that was the hero of the villains arc. I don't really think I need to cover anything else for that, because I feel like all the fights would go just to the canon after that. Obviously, I feel like honestly Kirishima might pull out no, he would lose. Just because like we've seen it before where Bakugo just like unleashes like too many explosions for Kirishima to be able to handle. So after this, they have like a week, and Izuku, he doesn't pay attention to the class. He's just like passed out. Like he knows that if he needs to study, he can just get Khonshu's help or Aizawa's help because he's the teacher. So I can see after this, like Aizawa being like, oh yeah, Izuku, I already signed your permission slip, but I'm gonna be announcing a field trip, and yes, you have to go. I know, it's such a drag. I don't want to go either. And they both just like, what a drag. And Aizawa was just like, all right, class, we're gonna be having to go to the USJ. And everybody's like, what? Universal Studios Japan? And then he cuts them off like, no, unforeseen simulation joint. And they're all like, dang it. And man, if y'all can't tell, I'm off like I chugged the pre-workout, like just a scoop of pre-workout, so I'm like off the walls right now. But anyways, sorry, I'm ranting. But I can see everybody like, yeah, wait, oh, it's not the Universal Studios Japan, and they're like, wait, but we get an opportunity to train? Heck yeah. And I was always just like, just stop, it's way too much to handle. Like, I just want to go sleep. And eventually, after this, I can see the next day rolling around, and everybody's getting on. Actually, I think it was like a week. I have no clue, but we're gonna say a week goes by, and everybody's getting on the bus for the USJ, and everybody's talking about how like who's the most powerful in the classroom, and we get a flashback to Izuku like carrying Asui to the recovery girl, and then like her waking up in the middle of it, and him just being like, look, I'm so sorry, I did not mean to hit you that hard. And we can see like his like actually like sympathetic side, like because in the original, like he had like a really like heroic and like gentle personality, and I can see him still kind of having it, but at the end of the day, I can also see him just being like, but yeah, and then like going like him like being like, are you okay, like I'm sorry, blah blah blah. And then after he like says yeah, he's like, cool, I'm dipping. So I would say that's how that goes about. Sorry guys, if you guys heard my fan in the background, I just turned it off, and then I also wanted to go light a candle because you gotta have the aesthetics, you know what I'm saying? But after this, I could see like everybody on the bus going to the USJ, and also he's like, I don't know, I feel like Izuku's pretty strong, but Todoroki, I mean, having fire and ice as a quirk, that's kind of just like OP. And everybody's like, mm-hmm. And Izuku's like, yeah, I agree. I feel like he is the strongest. Like, because he's like humble because he's not gonna be like, because he's starting to finally trust his class after watching them and their performance in the 2-2 battle. So he like starts like kind of coming out of his shell for them. And after everybody gets there, I can see them all just being like, okay, this is gonna be so much fun, like, we're gonna actually be able to train. And I was like, please just quiet down. And Izuku's like, yeah, I agree with Aizawa on this one, like, y'all just need to chill. Like, it's not that big of a deal. Like, we could have easily just done this at UA, and he's just like, yeah, we probably should have just done that at UA. And everyone's like, no, this is like a once in a lifetime opportunity. You're being able to train with the best of the best, and blah blah blah. And he's just like, yeah, this is gonna be such a drag. And I was always just like, yeah, you're right. So they all go in, and Izuku like hears Khonshu saying like, oh yeah, this is a trap, by the way, but like, I'm gonna just let this play out. And Izuku's just like, I bet. And he's like, yeah, no, none of them are strong enough to take you out. Me right here. So, like, to be fair, like, you kind of broken. That's what Khonshu says to Izuku. And, because y'all have to think, like, he has, like, super advanced, like, speed, strength, durability, and stamina. He can't, like, his, like, fighting style cannot be copied. And then, like, I don't know if y'all know this, like, this is, like, one of his, like, super, actually, you know what, nah, I'm gonna save that for the fight with, the Nomu, because that's gonna be sick. But, like, he can't, like, he's resistant to telepathic attacks, so with Shinso is not gonna be able to do anything. He has night vision, he has camouflage in the darkness, he has regen, like, he doesn't really need a breathable atmosphere, so he could literally just live underwater. He has extreme pain resistance, he's a master of, like, marksmanship, he pretty much knows how to use every single weapon, and he knows every single martial art, and he can teleport. If y'all, like, obviously I'm gonna say, like, he doesn't know every martial art, and he only knows how to train, like, or he only knows how to use a few weapons, but, like, this is, like, all of the abilities of, like, Moon Knight. So I could see everybody just, like, Kirishima just being like, whoa, y'all even have fake villains here? And I was always like, they're not fake. And him jumping down and being like, everybody stay up here. And Izuku's like, oh, heck nah. Like, I'm getting down there. And he jumps down there using his moon glider, and everybody's just like, wait, what? And they're just watching him glide down there. And he's just like, and he's just, like, fighting everybody. He pulls out his Kali sticks and just like, boop, 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 boop. And then, like, knocking out villain left and right. Aizawa and him hitting team combos on these people, and Kurogiri is, like, so focused on the fight and, like, how, like, dope their combos are, and he's just like, oh wait, crap, yeah, I gotta teleport. So he goes up there and he teleports them all, and he's like, huh, well, this is way too easy. And he didn't realize that one of them got away. So after this, I could see them all getting teleported to their respective places, and I could see Tsuyu and Mineta. What they do is they just, like, sit on the boat and hope and pray that, like, the villains, like, go see what's happening and go up there, which is what happens. The villains see that all their, like, allies are getting, like, messed up by some team combos, like Aizawa using a scarf to yank Izuku. Like, if you all have seen Black Clover, how Vanessa and, like, her team fights, it's like that. So think of it kind of like that, except Izuku doesn't rely on it as much as Austin does. So I get to see after this, like, finally, like, all the villains are taken out, and they're just having their little, like, circle eyes, like, whoa, we just got team comboed by 2 people, and we had, like, 200 people. Like, we had 200 villains here, and we got team comboed by 2 people. Like, that is 100 villains for 1 person. Like, I don't think y'all understand, like, the weight of this. Like, they knew that this kid was gonna be strong. Actually, no, they didn't, because they had no info on him yet. Yeah, no, they would have. They would have, because of the traitor. Spoiler alert, it's Aoyama. Or Oyama? I don't know. But regardless, yeah, I guess Shigaraki being like, no, it's not fair. They were supposed to be weakened by this. And I was always just like, and Izuku just being like, yeah, no, this wasn't nothing. And I was always just like out of breath, like, dang, kid, how do you have so much stamina? And he's like, dude, come on, get up. And he's just like, this is such a drag. And he gets up and he's like, oh gosh, like, my back's hurting. Like, being an old man, or not old, but like being a guy, you know what I'm saying? Like being a dad. Just being like, oh, my back hurts from carrying you. And he's just like, yeah, nah. And Shigaraki's like, no, Mil, get that kid and show to Aizawa. And then I was just like he just screams like a bird, like, rah. And I did that twice. I don't know if it picked up either of them, but regardless, the Nomu just starts stomping, and he's like, and Conchu's just like, hey, you want to see something cool? And he's like, heck yeah. And he's like, Aizawa, stand back. And Conchu just takes over Izuku's body, and he's like, by the voice of Conchu, no, that Nomu bird-looking thing, attack the blue-haired person. And after this, like, the Nomu, he gets hypnotized, and he's like, and he nods, and he's just like, rah, again, and he starts bum-rushing Shigaraki. And Shigaraki's like, no. And he just like, boom, like an uppercut Shigaraki out of there. If you guys didn't know that, it's actually something Moon Knight can do. By using the voice of Khonshu, he can hypnotize his foes and take control of them if they hear it. So think about a more overpowered Shinso where you don't have to talk back. Yeah. Where it's just like, you hear the voice and you're cooked. Like, it's cookies. Like, and Shigaraki's like, no, get me out of here. Like kind of like hurting. And finally, Kurogiri gets him out of there. And then Nemu is just like, he's just bowing, and like, he's on one knee in front of Izuku, and he's just like, wait, I think I might be able to do something. And he's like, have a rational mind. And the Nemu's just like, and he's just like, and he starts answering questions, and he's like, so who are you? And he's just like saying no in that bird voice, and he's like, oh, he can't talk. Speak whatever language they're speaking, so Japanese, but speak English. And he's just like, yes, sir. And he just starts talking. He's like, my name, it was, we're gonna say his name was Greg. Yeah, and this person, he looked really weird. He had a black mask and a breathing apparatus, and he told me that he would give me power. And then next thing I know, I'm like this massive bird-like creature. I can't control myself, and I don't have any sanity, and I don't have anything. Like, I just feel lost, and I feel broken, and I can feel like my heart is just nowhere. I can feel like my soul is halfway between heaven and hell, but I'm not on earth. And this Nemu just like lets it all out, and he's like, I got you. And All Might finally pulls up, and he's like, I'm here. And he just sees all the villains just like knocked out. After this, I can see All Might like getting all this info, and he's like, all for one. And him just being like, and he's just being like, who? And he's like, all for one, my rival, my main villain over the years. And Izuku just being like, yeah, you got that, gang. And All Might's just like, wait, what? And he's like, yeah, I mean, can't you just like be better? And All Might's just like, what do you mean? And he's just like, go fight him. Like, if we have the person that knows where he's at now, and All Might's just like, it's not that simple. We have to have. And Izuku's just like, dude, come on, it is that simple. Like, we know where he's at now. I mean, if you want like 500 heroes to go help you, go for it. But like, it's gonna take a lot of time, and it's probably gonna take till the end of the school year. And I doubt that you want to wait that long. Considering they've attacked us once, they're probably gonna end up trying to do it again. Like, if they're this like league of villains, and they seem to not really like you, because this Nomu over here, or Greg over here, is telling us that you don't really, they don't really like you that much. Especially not your main villain rival. And All Might's just like, yeah, you're right, kid. And And he's like, but I still would like a few help. And he's like, Aizawa, would you be willing to help? And Aizawa's just like, yeah, I'm down. Just let me take a breather real quick. And he just sits down and he's just like, and he just passes out, like sleepy. And Izuku's like, yeah, that's my dad right there. And after this, I could see them all going back to school. And since the villains were honestly like taken care of pretty fast, I can see them like not really being made out to the press because not a lot of heroes would have had to go. I could see maybe this. Actually, yeah, I could see a week, like at least a week, or at most a week, because it would still be like the kids still were subjected to like the villains being there, even though Khonshu literally knew that they were gonna be there. But Izuku just didn't tell anyone. So after this, I can see after this 1 week long break, them all returning back to class. And once they return back to class, I would say they have like about like a week or two of regular classes. And after this one day, 1B is standing outside the door, staring daggers at them all. And Izuku's just like, why? And he's like, oh wait, that's right, Aizawa has a secret exit. And he just leaves the classroom out of that, and he's just like, whatever they do, they do. And he just overhears like the little blonde-headed Pomeranian saying, oh yeah, you all are extras. And he's just being like, oh my gosh, Bakugo, why are you doing this? And all of 1B just like, we'll show you that in the sports festival. And we're like, wait, what sports festival? And Izuku finally walks back and he's like, guys, I forgot to mention this to y'all. And everybody's like, wait, how'd you get out? And he's like, don't worry about that. I forgot to mention this to you all, but we have this little festival thing every year, and all of the grades participate. Like, first years participate in one, second years participate, third years have one. And everybody's just like, oh. And he's like, yeah, it consists of 3 different things. Last year it was I'm gonna say it was a relay. It was a relay 100-meter dash. Quirks were allowed, and then a solo. We're gonna say I'm making this off the dome. So we're gonna say last year they had a solo. Yeah, just like a solo headband comp to see who would be able to get like somebody's headband. And then they also had 1v1s, and he's like, but the 1v1s stay every single year. Like, he got all of the info from Aizawa, and everybody's like, oh, that makes sense. And even 1B didn't know about all this. And he's like, oh, did y'all teacher not tell you? And they're like, nah. We knew at the sports festival about the 1v1s and all that. And he's like, oh yeah, by the way, they change every year, except for the 1v1s. These are kind of the same. And we're honestly kind of competing to get internships. It's gonna last like a month long, and we go and we train with a pro hero for about a month, and we come back to class, and yeah, and that's all I know from there, because Aizawa hasn't told me anything else, because I'm honestly pretty sure he's making it up from there on. And he just laughs and he just walks away, and everybody's like, oh, well, that's great to know. So after this, I could see them all getting ready for the next like week or two, and then having the sports festival. And Aizawa finally announces it to the class, and everybody's like, yeah, we know. And Aizawa's just like, Izuku, you told him, didn't you? And he's like, yeah, you kind of just forgot to mention it. And 1B was out here, like, basically just, like, telling us that we're not good enough and that we weren't worth being attacked by villains. So I had to tell them, like, and he's just like, okay, cool. And Aizawa's just like, anyways, so that's today. And I was like, all right, bet. So I'm gonna say Izuku gets permission to use the ceremonial armor because, I mean, even without it, he's still kind of cracked, but it's like, he might as well get permission to use it because it's not really a hero item. It's more of just some part of his quirk, quote unquote. We're gonna say that they re-quirk tested him and he just gonna be like, yeah, well, I kind of have this thing. It's kind of like Dark Shadow for Tokoyami, but instead it's and he just thinks and just like, his name is Khonshu, and they're like, the Egyptian god of the moon, and he's like, yeah, we'll say that. And he's like, oh wait, yeah, no, that's exactly it. And they're like, all right, cool. So hero or like quirk analysis, we're gonna say it's the Eye of Khonshu. I'm making that up. being completely honest, there's probably a way better name. If y'all have a better name, put it down in the comments. I would love to see what y'all come up with for his quirk name. Or quote unquote quirk. And Khonshu's just like, I like that. And after this, I could see everybody going out, and Midnight gives Bakugo the mic, and he's like, look, you got first place, kid. And hands him the mic, and he just goes up and he's like, I'm just gonna say this now. I'm gonna win. And then he just walks off, and Midnight's like, what a speech, am I right? And everybody's just like, it's just crickets in the crowd, and she's just like, yeah. And she's like, anyways, as you all know, this is going to be a three-stage battle with three different randomized events. Number one is going to be a race. So everybody, get on the line and get ready to start your engines and run. And just so y'all know, it is not going to be a standard 100-meter race. It is going to have robots, balancing, and landmines. So be prepared to have the spectacle of y'all's lives. And with all that being said, and she shoots off the gun, she's like, go, go, go. And Izuku's just like, hype. And he just like starts sprinting. If y'all know, if y'all have seen the scene of how Captain America and Black Panther were running next to each other, and Black Panther just slowly starts like leading, that's gonna be like what it is. And he just like is sprinting like full force, and he's actually keeping up with Ida, kind of like it's kind of crazy. So after this, I could see him, honestly, I would see him getting about like second place. I don't see him getting any less than that. The only reason why I'm saying second is because he would definitely get over Bakugo, but I don't think he would get under Todoroki. I don't think he would get over Todoroki. And then I can see all the rest following like that. So after this, I'm going to say the cavalry battle, it's hard to cover because it's like, there's a lot of stuff that goes on in the original, yeah, but it's also like, if there was even like one different person on the team, then it's wraps, like it's cookies. So I'm going to see all the teams go into canon except Izuku's team, which is going to be Tokuyami, Jiro, himself, and then I'm also going to say he gets Ida. And then everybody else just follows, like, themselves, I guess. So I'm going to say that they obviously don't go for the 10 million point headband, and they just use Tokuyami to grab a bunch of the random, like, lesser points, yeah, but it's still points nonetheless. So that's what's going to go down. After this, I'm gonna say everybody passes in original, because like I said, the cavalry battle is kind of just like boring to cover, because there's a lot of stuff that goes down, but also none at the same time. None that's really going to matter, like long run. Like, I don't think Izuku learned anything in the cavalry battle other than to watch his back, like, and to rely on his team, which even then, like, I mean, he already did that, like, way too much in the original. So I'm going to say the first fight is going to be between Shinso and Izuku. And what's going to happen here is Shinso's just going to start talking crap about Jiro and his whole team and how he's so lucky to have been born with the quirk. And he's like, nah, to be honest, I wasn't really born with the quirk. And Shinso's just like, wait, I got you. Wait, what? How are you not under my spell? And he's just like, oh yeah, that's right. My quirk is pretty much that I can't be, I'm immune to stuff like this. So I probably just have like a quick little chat, and he just goes up to Shinso and he's just like, anyways, boom, 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 and just like slams a gut shot, a liver shot, and then he just right hooks him, leaving him like right on the edge of the arena. And he's like, now that you're a little bit dazed, and he just starts treating him like the ninja treated Gon in Hunter x Hunter in the entrance exams, and he's just like, you know, I could really just end this all at any time I wanted, but I want to hear you surrender. And Shin's just like not even Izuku's not even giving him a chance to say I surrender, and he's just like, by the way, I was not born with a quirk. I was actually subjected to, and then he starts going into his whole past, and Shin's just like, wait, what? And he's like, oh yeah, I probably shouldn't have said that, but he's like, whatever, it's fine if you know, because no one else is hearing me right now. They just see that I'm telling something to you. So I'll give you I'll give you 10 seconds to say that you surrender and to get your footing. Shinso stands up and he raises his hand and he says, I will not surrender. And he keeps trying and he's just like, dude, I already told you it's not gonna work. So how about I just end this right now? And he gut punches him and sends him out of the arena. So Shinso is just like now has this like kind of respect yet envy for Izuku because he's like, why couldn't I have gotten something like that? And All Might's just watching from the stands and he's like, whoa, ruthless. And All Might still hasn't given his quirk away. I'm gonna say he still hasn't given it to Mirio, just because of like situation, no like circumstances. And then after this, Todoroki and Izuku happens, and honestly, I could see it going something like this, and I could see what he does is, actually, I kind of don't see him winning this like crazy, like in like a crazy wash. I could see him just trying to speed blitz Todoroki, and Todoroki knows that he's a hand-to-hand fighter, because he's not going to want to use his crescent daggers because it's going to hurt him, like obviously. So I could see him pulling out his collie sticks and just shattering the ice like as it's coming at him. And he finally, what he does is he uses the shadow of an ice geyser that Todoroki uses, and he camouflages himself and he sneaks Todoroki. And he's like mink mink mink, and he hits him four times with the collie sticks. And Todoroki is just like, wait, what the heck? And he's just having like an out of body experience, and he just sees himself just knocked out. He's like, well, that's probably not good. And he just sees Izuku just walking off the stage, and he's like, oh, well, I guess they called the match. And I'm kidding by this, by the way, but Todoroki does get knocked out. And after this, I'm going to say, it's going to be Deku and Bakugo versus each other. And how I can see this one going is, honestly, it's not that I don't see Bakugo like winning against Izuku. I kind of just see Izuku just being like, nah, I quit, I surrender. Like the second the match starts, and Bakugo's like, no, you can't surrender. And he's like trying to be on this like angry Pomeranian. He's like, dude, one, I'm just trying to go back to sleep, and two, even if I were to fight you, it'd be the same thing as Todoroki. I would just use the smoke of your explosions and sneak attack you and knock you out. So it's not really fun for me. And everybody hears this and they're like, dang, he's not even giving him the treatment that he gave Todoroki, the son of Endeavor. He really just saying that he's not good enough for it for real. And everybody's saying this, and Bakugo's just like, shut up. And Bakugo still tries to attack him, but Cementos throws up the barrier between them. And after this, the same scene happens in canon, how Bakugo's just tied up like trying to get to Izuku, who's at the second place spot, who's just like posing, or who's honestly, I can see him just like falling asleep on the podium right then and there. And after this, I'm going to say they go back up to class and they start having regular class, and for like a month or two, and everybody is just in awe of Izuku. Like, oh wait, no. Hold on. Do I want to get into that? It's only, yeah, no, I won't. But everybody is just like in awe of Izuku, and he's just like, oh right, I still need to go do vigilanteing. And he's thinking on his head, and he's just like, I'll do it tonight. And he goes out for patrol, and he's sitting on top of the building that he always does, and he has Aizawa there with him. And he's just like, hold up, I need to make a stop real quick. And he jumps down and he goes into the music store, and he just starts talking to Jiro, and they're talking, and Izuku, he's spitting some game. Like, that's all I'm gonna say. And he's just like, oh yeah, let me get you a number. And she's just like, yeah, of course. And they get each other's numbers, and the next day I could see Izuku just like taking her out and just like having fun, just being like friendly. Not like going and making it a date, but just like hanging out with her, like trying to just feel the vibe, you know? And after this, it's gonna be Saturday, we'll say, and then on Monday, whenever they go back to school, as I was like, all right, you guys need to do two things for me. Next week, you guys are going to be having your internships, but in order for you guys to be doing that, you guys need to come and pick hero names. And Midnight Jump bursts in and is like, oh yeah, pick your hero names right now, and I'll tell you what's acceptable and not acceptable. And Bakugo goes first, and he's like, King, Death, Explosion, Murder. And she's like, no, that's too long, and you can't say murder or death. And she's like, ah, dang it. And everybody goes, and Bakugo has gone through it like 10 different times, and he's finally on his like final try. He's finally like, fine, dynamite. And she's like, very good. And she's like, it seems like we only have one more person. And he just stands up and he's like, Moon Knight. And she's just like, oh, well, okay. And she was like, very fitting. And I guess that was from a little bit of a certain alter ego that you have. And he's just like, yeah, nah, just put Moon Knight down. And she's just like, okay. And after this, like, he's kind of just cold to everyone other than Aizawa and Jiro and Tokoyami. Those three are pretty much like the only ones that he's like not like cold to half the time. And then his class he can get friendly with sometimes. Like, he gets along with them decently fine because he still has that, like, in the canon, like, he has that like always friendly nature to him. But yeah, so then we get a scene of the next week in them all having to give in their internship and go. Thank you all so much for watching What If Deku Was Moon Knight Part 2. I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you guys have watched the whole thing, thank you all. Like, seriously, it means a lot that I can come on here, and I know I say that a lot, but thank you all. So, like, subscribe, leave it down in the comments what you guys want me to do next. So, have a wonderful night, and peace!